Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Riley Gaines Show. I am Riley Gaines, and I am so glad that you're here. It's quite the surreal feeling for me. I have to really pinch myself when I think about the platform that I have, the opportunities that I've had, the impact that we've had collectively for simply saying that men are not women and that they can't become women. Insane. Maybe some of you have come over from the Gaines for Girls podcast, my show over on Outkick the past 2 years. Well, this is that, but with a facelift. A lot has changed in the last 18 months. We have a new president, which I thank God for every single day. We have seen wins across the board. Immigration, international relations, the pro-life cause, woke is dying. I could keep going. I think about often how our country would look if cackling Kamala and Tampon Tim won, but we'll get into that in a few. Podcasting has continued to emerge as a much more effective way to reach the masses, especially the younger generation. My husband and I, we had a baby. She's 3 months old now. She is the greatest joy of our lives. I've realized that having a baby, it shifts your priorities and your perspective on every single topic. Things that I once cared about now seem mundane, and things that I never thought I'd care about now feel critical. So on this show, we're going to be talking about motherhood, fitness, faith, still discussing the cultural chaos that's plaguing this nation, and much, much more. So stick around, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at Riley Gaines Show, because God willing, it is only onwards and upwards from here. And I am eternally grateful for you guys. Today, we are discussing how a 23-year-old YouTube bro just ended the career of a guy who was almost the vice president of the United States. Well, his expose plus the massive fraud, theft of taxpayer funds, and gross incompetence helped with that. So here's my advice. If you don't do criminal things, YouTubers have nothing to expose you for. In the wise words of Tim Waltz's crazy-eyed wife, we are turning the page, largely thanks to Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley is someone that I trust. He is someone that I admire. He is someone who does the work and someone who tells the truth, even when it's unpopular. So buckle up, because this conversation goes places. But before we get into my interview with Nick, I want to take a second to tell you about a company that I am proud to have supporting the show. You may have heard me talk about my friends at YRefi before. What they do is truly amazing. Are you struggling with private student loan debt? Is even your minimum payment higher than what you can afford? Maybe you're in default? Well, you're not alone, and YRefi can help. They refinance private student loans that others won't touch, and they'll give you a custom loan payment based on your ability to pay. They work with each borrower individually to craft a payment that works for them. They can help you reduce your monthly payment and your total cost. You will get a low fixed interest rate that you couldn't get anywhere else. You'll be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel, and YRefi does not care what your credit score is. So, is private student loan debt wrecking your life? Is it destroying your dreams? You don't have to live with this stress and worry anymore. Just go to yrefi.com. That's YREFY.com. Make sure you tell them that Riley sent you. Well, Nick, thank you for joining the Riley Gaines Show, the first guest. So this is very exciting for me and very timely. Obviously, everything going on with you, you have been viral for all the right reasons. And so for people who aren't necessarily familiar with your work, can you give a little background on you, how you got to where you are? We've seen, especially in the past few weeks, how critics are labeling you as some sort of YouTuber, I guess, in an attempt to discredit you or make it seem as if you're not qualified. How did you go from making prank YouTube videos to now where you are?
Yeah, well, I grew up. I was making YouTube videos since I'm 15 years old, and I've grown up, and my interests have changed. Over the past nearly 2.5 years now, I've posted a video every single week, whether it was from the border or whether it was from the fentanyl streets of LA or the streets of Kensington, Philadelphia, or fraud happening in Minnesota.
Lots of Antifa stuff, too.
Lots of Antifa and lots of protest.
Yeah, that's where I got familiar with your work and understanding personally just how violent and dangerous and severe the trans Tifa crowd really is. And so you've certainly had your fair share of those interactions. But recently, you have been in the news surrounding this Minnesota fraud story. How did you first get introduced to this topic, and what made you decide it was worth going to Minnesota to dig deeper?
So I knew about the fraud happening back in June, as I went there to film a separate video on a separate topic, but all the Minnesotans were telling me, you need to investigate the fraud. And I was like, well, I can't just come and label all this fraud on a group of people and say that fraud's happening. I need the backed evidence. So for months, I had been doing my own research, trying to get the numbers, get the evidence. And then this man, David, messaged me and he said, Nick, I have all the information, I have all the numbers. Somebody from the Capitol has given me the numbers, and I've been working for years to expose this fraud. There's no kids at any of these daycares, and they're receiving millions of dollars. So I told David, all right, I'm going to come down to Minnesota. We're going to film this video. And to me, I just thought I was making another YouTube video, another YouTube journalism video, like I do. And then it became the most viewed video ever by a creator who's not named Mr. Beast, over 10 minutes. And never has there been an expose style video where it's received over 100 million views, whether that be on X or YouTube. It's insane.
And David has become quite the icon too. So I think you guys, as I alluded to, the credit and the props that you're getting, the kudos, you deserve all of that, both you and David, and more. We have a couple sound bites we want to throw to. Let's throw to soundbite number 4 really quickly.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know, where are the kids?
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like
Never
that
seen
here.
a child here.
No, not at all.
And so you've never seen a child here for 8 years?
Nope, not at all.
And how does that make you feel, knowing that this place is receiving $1.9 million?
It's disgusting. I mean, what the hell? They stealing the money. That's a federal grant too. That's, if they get caught for that, it's a federal offense. I know, I studied law.
And do you think Tim Walz should go to jail for all the fraud that he's enabled here in his state?
That's him doing this? Heck yeah. He's got to be held accountable for this. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason what's going on here. It's simple. It's nothing there. It's parking lot.
Now, this bystander seems just like your everyday, average American, and he calls it what it is, right? Which is fraudulent. What's the response that you have seen across the board, outside of take away elected representation and certainly mainstream media? Have you found the issue of federal funds, our money, Republicans' money and Democrats' money, being used to, I guess, again, fraudulently in the way that it has been? Have you found that to be something that's partisan, or has it been able to cross political lines? Again, I'm talking about in your everyday American.
Yeah, you think something like this would just be fraud is bad, but no, now people are coming after me for exposing fraud. And who are all those people? They're leftist.
Yeah.
And it's just a moment where they could have really been like, okay, you guys, let's come together. Let's tell everyone fraud's bad. Let's crack down on the fraud. Instead, they come after the person who's exposing the fraud.
Yeah, I wish I could say I'm shocked. The Democrats have taken the wrong side of every 80-20 issue, I would say the past 6 years or so, right? Border, crime, the trans garbage, this. So can't say I'm surprised in how they've treated you. Were there moments on the ground when you were filming where you felt unsafe? I've seen now where you have security, and I would say that is a really good thing. We've seen, I mean, the whole nation, the whole world watch what happened to Charlie Kirk. We see, and they don't even try to hide it, what they want to do to people like you for exposing the truth. You've dealt with, I'm sure, doxing and death threats. I would imagine even maybe family members being harassed. Did you have times on the ground where you felt unsafe?
Yeah, you'll see it in part 2. I go back. The first time, people were getting upset because they knew their fraud was being exposed, but they didn't know who I was. So I go back for part 2. I'm getting kicked out of grocery stores. I'm getting kicked out of daycare places for just asking them about where the money's at and where the kids are at. And these people get extremely violent.
Yeah, that's what they do. And we've seen them call you names. These sort of ad hominem attacks that have been hurled your way, even by people like could have been Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz. I think he called you like a far-right YouTuber, a delusional, crazy conspiracist. How do you take, which I will say, being called a conspiracist, in my opinion, especially after COVID, I think it's almost like a badge of honor to wear. How do you handle the ad hominem attacks, and what do they say to you? Yeah,
well, Tim Walz, he called me far-right. He called me a delusional conspiracy theorist, and then he also called me a white supremacist. Yet he can't deny any of the claims. Because when you're speaking facts these people can't come after you. And so when I was just speaking the facts about fraud is fraud, 89% of the population committing the fraud is Somalian, that does not make me a racist. Dollars have no race to it. It's just a pure fact that money's being stolen from Republicans and Democrats.
So we have seen no denial from Tim Walz at this point. Is that correct?
No denial.
Yeah, that's
a lot of deflecting.
A lot of deflecting. And of course, now we've seen where he has dropped out of his 2026 gubernatorial reelection. And I think that, well, maybe I should phrase it in this way to you. I believe it's almost guilt by admission. I know that you've seen his statement. The way I'll phrase it to you, do you believe that he would still be running had you not gone to Minnesota to uncover the fraud?
He would still be running.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll be interested to see what the future looks like for him. I think the past few years, what has been proven to the people, especially if you're tuned into politics, there's no way, I believe, unless he is in jail, that he's just going to take the back seat on this. I know the heat is on him right now, but I'll be interested to see what the future looks like for him. As you alluded to, the video that you posted to X from your account has nearly, 150 million views at this point. You've kind of said, but this is not the response that you necessarily anticipated, is it?
Yeah, because I've just been kind of going through this for years at this point of uploading a YouTube video every week onto YouTube and X. And so to me, I posted the video and I go to the gym, and before I can even get to posting my video on the other platforms, people are already taking the video. I tell my brother, I got to get back home because I got to post my video. People are taking it from me.
Yeah.
And so I had to go home and post the video, and that video, like you just said, over nearly 150 million views.
I think we have a soundbite of a clip. Let's play it right here.
It says you have 102 children here in your child care.
Which child care, ma'am? Is a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here,
Okay.
and you got $2.66 million this year in funding, and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where are you? Which department? That is harassment.
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
So she asks you who you are. You're honest. You say Nick Shirley. She's covering her face. I think that right there tells you everything that you need to know. Was this type of hostility in response what you were expecting on the ground?
No, not at all. And all they had to say is they could have just blatantly lied and said the kids are in the back. They couldn't even answer the question as to where the kids are. I give them like 4 or 5 opportunities, and they can't even answer the question.
We've seen even following this where Tim Walz has now come out and said that you were, breaking and entering, demanding access. Is that something that could be a potential defamation lawsuit? Because it seems to me you were not doing the things he accused you of, and it seems defamatory.
Yeah, potentially. We didn't try to barge in any daycares. We were simply asking you questions just like any other person would if they were trying to check their kid in the daycare.
We've got one more soundbite. Let's throw it to soundbite number 2.
For 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million over
Open
the
up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years.
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know where
You're
the-
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you!
Are you in favor of $1.9
Shame
million
on you. It's
going
ice.
illegally,
Don't open up!
fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
So she seems like quite the peach. Quality Learing Center. This is the meme that has gone totally viral. And I mean, clearly it's because of the hypocrisy. You have a daycare that's receiving millions of dollars of taxpayer funds, federal funds, and they can't even spell learning right. Think about how many people that sign had to be seen by, edited by, approved by before it's up on the building, and they still couldn't get it right.
They still couldn't get it right. They literally spelled Learing for a place for kids to go learn.
It is mind-blowing to me.
And what you don't see what you actually do see is they also spelt the address wrong. They spelt Nicolette wrong as well. They spelt learning and Nicolette wrong on their sign.
Yeah, not a good track record. And this is supposed to be a place where, allegedly, parents are dropping off their kids for daycare services, but to also learn, or I guess in their case, to leer.
And they received $1.9 million in the year of 2025.
And you have that protester who's standing out there, who's saying, screeching really, go away, don't open up, we don't want you here. You would think that she would be appreciative of the work that you're doing because it's her money too.
Yeah, and if say we were ICE, if they're operating illegally, they have nothing to fear.
Yeah, well, that all of those have been totally thrown out the window because they know
their logic has been literally broken. And if you ask them, well, you're supporting $1.9 million going to this daycare and they can't even spell learning right, she just looks you stone cold in the face and has no response because she knows she can't justify it, but she has to keep yelling just to keep going to convince herself that she's doing the right thing.
They've labeled you, as we've said, a far-right YouTuber. Obviously, in journalism, people can appreciate when a journalist approaches a story with no bias. I think here, clearly, you've had to input a little bit of your opinion. Actually, no, you really haven't. You've done the story in a phenomenal light and just highlighting the truth and the fraud that you're exposing. Have your viewpoints always aligned with that of, conservative beliefs?
Yeah, I think just the common sense is on the side of conservatives. We don't support fraud. We don't support boys and girls bathrooms. We don't support illegal immigration. The word's illegal. So on all those things we're talking about, how can you go against it if it's as blatant as people are stealing money?
Do you think the state of Minnesota is almost like a lost cause? Because this story, on top of, sticking with the theme of Somali, you've got the mayor of Minneapolis, who there's this viral clip of him. I think of him truthfully as America's Justin Trudeau, where he's standing on stage at Somali Week, waving a Somali flag with a Somali shirt, surrounded by a bunch of Somalis. He's done ads speaking that language. Do you think the state of Minnesota is too far gone? Do you think there's hope? Do you think Governor Walz will be replaced in his 2026, re-election bid by someone more radical than him? Because answer that first.
It's very possible because in Minnesota, their voting law is that one person on the day of voting can then go ahead and vouch on behalf of 8 people. So essentially in Minnesota, you can have one person bring in 8 votes to the ballot box, and as long as they have the license, they don't have to prove that those other 8 votes do, and they can vouch on behalf of 8 people. And with the Somali population, they're all going to vote as a block. So if one person's going to vote for Tim Walz, 100,000 of them are going to vote for Tim Walz.
That's right. These Democrats, these radical Democrats, which I will say there's no such thing as a moderate Democrat in terms of elected representation anymore at any level, local, state, or federal. They all support, they're lockstep with one another. They support the same agenda, whether you're Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, who appears to be more moderate, or you're Jacob Fry of mayor of Minneapolis. Doesn't matter. No such thing as a moderate Democrat anymore. They're like weeds, though, the radical ones. We had this big red wave in 2024, right? President Trump is back in the Oval Office. Majority of the House. We maintained majority in the Senate. It gave me a lot of hope and optimism, and I still feel hopeful and optimistic for the future, largely to thank people like you. But then you have people like Mamdani who get elected, who is a self-described Muslim socialist. Or I think a bigger condemnation of humanity is the Attorney General of Virginia who just won, who I believe engaged in the most violent and extreme rhetoric that we have seen from any candidate of any major level race, and saying that he wishes to watch the children of his political opponents die in their parents' arms. That is the state's top law enforcement officer. So when you feel like you're making ground, yet you see wins from the other side like this, what do you make of it in your journalist lens?
Yeah, I think this case with what's happening in Minnesota with the Somalians, is a perfect example. If the Trump administration really wants to go in and gain another strong foothold of the country, because it's kind of slipping right now, because you're seeing all these, like you said, Democrats getting elected in, whether it be Mandami or whether it be that person in Virginia. But this is an opportunity for them. It's been seen by millions of people, and this is their opportunity to go in and say, we're going to stand on business, and we're going to do exactly what we said we're going to do. No ifs, ands, or buts. We're going to do exactly what we're going to do. We're going to deport the people out of here that aren't supposed to be here, and we're going to crack down on the fraudsters, and we're going to go after any corrupt politician, and we're going to put them where they need to go. So this is their opportunity to really get a stronghold back of the country that is maybe kind of fraying to the side. This is their time to show them, we're standing on business, and we're going to fight for you.
And they had no problem doing it to President Trump, attempting to put him behind bars, right? The infamous mugshot, which I believe actually did more good for President Trump than it did for, or I guess than the Democrats had imagined it would.
Yeah, and Trump's doing so much good for America right now, whether it be cracking down on fentanyl or stopping illegal migration, trying to go after the illegal migrants, but you're seeing how much power these people can have or how much power these states have, and even how protesters can get in the way of operations. People shouldn't be out there yelling and screeching, trying to stop the deportation of someone who's illegal.
Yeah, well, it's amazing because I think especially when you're looking at this and how celebrities have approached the topic, especially of illegal immigration, where, of course, they say they're for it. You know, they say Trump is this awful human who's separating families. Why don't they open their homes then, right? That the video of Selena Gomez where she's bawling, crying, saying her people. I'm sure she has a house with many, many bedrooms. Open your front door. No, she lives behind, I would imagine, a gated community. I would imagine she keeps her door locked. Why does she do that? Because she doesn't want people who she doesn't know entering into her home. Same thing, I believe, with the border of a nation.
And why doesn't she cry for little Latina girls like Jocelyn Nungaray, who got brutally killed to death by illegal migrants, or Laken Riley? Why doesn't she cry for them?
Yeah.
So that they've completely lost the plot on what's morally correct in this world, and you're going to see it more and more get crazier as time goes on. Like, it's inevitable, but that's why it's our responsibility to show people things for what they really are.
I wonder when we'll see the pendulum swing, because it has to happen, right? History tells us it will happen. I guess it's a matter of time.
Well, we did just get Tim Walz to drop out from becoming governor again.
It's a huge win. It really is. And again, this is someone who could have potentially been the vice president. Think about that. Think about the state of this nation, the state of the world. We've seen President Trump issue peace deals all across the Middle East. We've seen what he's done in Venezuela, liberating an entire nation. Think of the state of the world if Kamala Harris had won the presidential bid back in 2024.
Yeah. And I mean, you would be having a fraudster in the Oval. And you wonder why she chose Tim Walz? Well, Tim Walz also brought in a historic number of donations the first day he was chosen. How does Tim Walz have all these rich friends? Well, he might have a few daycares.
Daycares.
Seriously, think about it. Like, how did Tim Walz raise the most amount of money out of any candidate in America history? Well, we know over $9 billion in fraud happened, and he's been fighting fraud since 2019.
Well, now that he's out of a job, maybe the Quality Learing Center is hiring.
Yes, that's what I told him today on Twitter. Imagine he says oh, I'm done being the governor. And a 23-year-old ends up ratioing him with a tweet that says, I hear Quality Learing Center is hiring.
He's going to charge you with a hate crime while he still can.
He's so upset because every time he posts, no matter what he posts, I just go right underneath it and put something. And it always gets more likes than him.
But again, no denial on his part.
No, he can't deny it.
It's only an attack at your credibility. That tells you everything
they try
you
to
need to
attack
know.
my credibility. And I'm speaking facts, and Tim Walz just has to step down now.
But you should feel encouraged, and I would imagine that you do, because people see that, regardless of where they live, and it makes them start asking questions, right? Like, if this is happening in Minnesota, what's happening in my home, in my hometown, in my city? And I think, too, my first thought as a very proud American, a very proud Tennessean is, goodness gracious, think of how much money we are paying in taxes and we have no idea where they're going, right? I can remember learning about some dudes who threw tea in the Boston Harbor over like a 2% tax.
Yeah, and now 7% of our taxes are going towards fraud. So if we pay $100 in taxes, $7 of that is going to be going to fraud, most likely.
Were there times when you were on the ground filming that you felt unsafe or like your safety was being threatened?
Yeah, there's a few times, especially when I went back the second time. I got pushed out of entire stores looking for businesses. People were coming out. One guy stopped in the middle of an intersection and just got out of his car at a red light and came charging at me. So, I mean, it's not like the most peaceful group of people I pissed off.
No.
Like,
even when you had, I've seen the clip of the CNN reporter. I mean, she's like shoving a microphone in your face. That right there is nerve-wracking. It's scary when you have someone that close in your personal business.
yeah, and you know exactly how they're going to clip it up. And so I was
Exactly.
like, okay, well, whatever answer I give you, which I think I did a great job of answering. And she goes, well, are you 100% certain? Yeah, I'm 100%. I said, yeah, I am. Well, is CNN 100% certain on everything they've investigated? The border, the Russian hoax, like everything, like the Biden White House? Like, what kind of question is that to ask somebody? And then you don't take my word, but then you take 1 out of the 7 daycare's word?
Yeah, I know. I saw that where she says, we've been calling these centers. One has responded and said that they're a legit business.
Yeah, and I was true. She said, are you 100% certain? I said, yeah, I am sure.
When you first started this expose in particular, is the response that you've had what you anticipated?
I don't think you ever upload a video thinking it's going to be like the biggest video in history, especially in like journalism expose style. I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't know it was going to be this big.
We've seen even, I believe it was the vice president, J.D. Vance, who went on X to, basically insinuate you should win the Pulitzer Prize for this expose. That's got to feel good reading that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if they gave me it.
Yeah, that would be huge. And like I said, I believe it's worthy because it has been consequential, clearly, as we've seen now Tim Walz drop out. What do you think is the most shocking piece of information that you learned and that you believe the American people have learned following this expose?
Just the fact that people inside our government literally are not working for the best interest of the people who voted them in. Tim Walz, he's not working in the best interest of the Americans. He's working in the best interest of the fraudsters. Because I don't know how you can justify allowing fraud to happen for 6 years. He said he's been fighting it since 2019. How long, Riley, would it take you if someone stole $1 million out of your bank account? How fast do you think you'd be able to stop it from happening again? Well,
First, that would require me to have $1 million. But even $100, you would notice it, right? Like I check my accounts, you see that it's gone or not in the place where it should be. You ask questions immediately. I'm calling my credit card company. I'm calling American Express. Hey, I see this, $100 or $1,000, whatever it is missing from my account. Can you tell me where it went? And if they couldn't tell me where it went, obviously that's a problem. That's an issue. So for them to either have allowed for it, facilitated it, or benefited from it, which I think is the more concerning part, that is a huge issue that should outrage every single American or Minnesotan, despite your political beliefs. We haven't seen much coverage of this, I guess, especially before your expose, from local news outlets. What's the excuse there? Why haven't, especially local stations, been covering this?
Well, they have in a way. I think, there's videos from 2017 exposing the fraud, but I think they might have felt a bit defeated because no matter what they do, the governor wasn't going to listen to them. And so even if they would speak out against the fraud, it'd be a story for a day and then the next story for the next day. It wasn't something that actually stuck.
What are some of the craziest rumors that you've heard about yourself in the past few weeks? And are there any that you want to address or clear the air right now?
Well, Tim Walz said I was trying to chart Bart into daycare centers. That isn't true. Some people were saying
anyone could watch the video and see that too.
Yeah, I know. Tim Walz, he's an idiot.
They're banking on people. And again, this speaks to the state of why I believe we haven't seen people who call themselves investigative journalists diving in on this, because there are so many people who are lazy nowadays. And so Tim Walz is banking on people being lazy or uneducated or unintelligent, whatever it is, because he's hoping that they don't watch the video. If they watch the video, they would see that you're not barging in. You're asking a very normal question for anyone hoping to enroll their kid in a daycare center.
And they couldn't do it.
Any other rumors? Any other things that have been said that you read and you're just perplexed by?
There's this one. Well, they were like, he's a PDF trying to go inside these daycares. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, they just used the slandering technique, and we all know that they use this slandering technique because they know that a slander and a bad word like that will get a lot more attention than saying YouTuber or journalist. Like, why couldn't they just say journalist checks to see if children are in daycare? Instead they say PDF.
That's what they do, though, and that's been made very clear. Referring to people as, horrific things in their true nature, right? Like a Nazi or Hitler or whatever it is, racist, white supremacist. Again, in the words true meaning, those are horrible things. But those words have become conflated, and by their usage, the left's usage of these words, they've lost their meaning, which is actually a harmful thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, if first thing, when somebody calls you a Nazi, you can automatically discredit whatever comes out of their mouth next.
Yeah.
Because how can they call somebody like me a Nazi? Haven't killed any Jews. I haven't killed anybody. In fact, I'm just doing the public a service, showing what's happening in this world, and they're going to call me a Nazi for it?
Yeah. Again, you hate to say it, but it almost has become a badge of honor. And in that same light, you have the media who shamed and ridiculed constant headlines of Elon Musk when he did the heartfelt, his arm out at, I believe it was the Madison Square Garden rally leading up to the 2024 presidential election. And then you have people like Mom Donnie or insert, AOC has done it, the exact same gesture, yet crickets from mainstream media.
And by them calling you far right, Nazi, fascist, delusional conspiracy theorist, they're trying to make it so somebody can go ahead and justify doing whatever they may want to you. Because it's just pure evil by them to do that. Because one, you're not far right, nor are we far wrong. We're just right. And we're not Nazis. We're not fascists. We're not delusional conspiracy theorists. Does asking questions make you a conspiracy theorist? Shouldn't they be able to provide the answers to the questions?
I think it's a good point that you make in saying that people almost feel justified, or I believe they do feel justified in their actions. Again, whether it's Charlie Kirk's assassin, the people who have taken attempts at President Trump's life, they believe they're morally superior. And the irony in that, they're trying to prematurely end a life, but they still believe they're morally superior because they believe they're justified in their actions because whether it's mainstream media, whatever it is, they've made it out to be that way. So it's a sad reality that we're living in. People like you are defamed for telling the truth, and others feel justified in their actions and literally trying to take someone's life.
Well, I will say there is a lot more people who have common sense than do not have common sense. I've received way more support from people than I have hate. Just literally just thousands upon thousands of messages of people who support me. And maybe you get a couple hundred or maybe a couple thousand, but for every 1,000, there's 10,000 that are in support.
Is there anyone surprising that you've been in touch with the past few weeks?
David from The Office.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. He's like, you're Dunder Mifflin certified. Yeah, I thought that was really funny. That was funny. Logan Paul sent me a video. I'm friends with his dad.
That's super cool.
His dad was like, yeah, Nick's the captain now. That was hilarious.
What about Elon Musk? Have you had communication with him?
Yeah, he followed me back on X, and then I could send him a message. I just said, thanks for the support. And he just said, thanks for what you're doing.
Well, hopefully there's a collaboration between the two of you soon.
That'd be very cool.
What do you make of the current state of journalism? And I ask you this after watching CNN's idea of uncovering the truth. I guess, number one, that's to spend more time investigating you as a person as opposed to investigating the fraud. And then when they do investigate the fraud, their idea of that is to simply call these businesses or daycare centers and ask if they're committing fraud, to which, of course, the daycare centers are going to say no, and then report back that they're not committing fraud. What do you make of journalism today?
Yeah, I think it's almost become a point where these people don't actually know how to go talk to the source. And if you do talk to the source, you're a bad person. A lot of times on the news, you'll just see people talking to the camera and they're actually not really going out into the field. And there's levels to journalism. We need people who are sitting behind the desk talking, and we also need people out there who are interviewing the people who are actually living it. And so when you see these news organizations actually not going or not even using clips from people that go to these places, I have respect for Fox, because a lot of times they'll use I let them use, if they ask me, I'll say, yes, you can use my footage. I'll tell CNN that same thing, but they've never texted me.
Isn't that wild? I believe we're clearly in this new media era now. How important have platforms like X or YouTube been in allowing stories like yours to break through without any sort of gatekeepers?
Yeah, X is amazing. One, because there's not really a cap to how many views you can get. On YouTube, it's very, very hard to get a video over 1 million views, and then to get a video to 5 million views, it's nearly impossible. But with X, because of the sharing, because of the way you can share the videos, it can then get shared to as many people who engage with the content. So if you post a video, there's not a limit, as we just saw.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk, what he has done for free speech, I mean, bar none, he's done more for that than any other human, I believe, on this planet, certainly an American. As we've alluded to, Tim Walz has now dropped out of his 2026 gubernatorial reelection. This is a fantastic first step, but I believe American people want to see accountability. We want to see the full hammer of justice brought down. I don't know what you can share, but have you had any sort of conversations with government officials about potential charges or arrests that can be made for those who facilitated in, or better yet, benefited from the fraud that has been committed in Minnesota?
Yeah, so I've had that same question myself, because what's the point in all this outrage if changes aren't actually made? So I've even reached out to people and I said, well, what's going to happen to these people? And it sounds like to me they're working to get a case where it's so solidified by the time they do have to present it, there's no way that Tim or Elon, what do you call her? Elon Omar?
I don't know, but she's been totally radio silent.
She hasn't said a word.
Which, I mean, this is well over 2 weeks at this point.
Yes.
To where she has not posted anything on her X account.
So whether it's Tim, Ilhan Omar, or any other fraudster in Minnesota, there needs to be a case brought about where it's so crystal clear that they can't deny it.
Now, of course, we're talking about Minnesota. This is just one of 50 states. Are there other states that you have received info on where similar fraudulent activity is happening?
Yeah, there's fraud all across the country right now with these daycare facilities. You have 4 kids, I have 4 kids, you watch my 4 kids, I'll watch your 4 kids, and we'll make $25,000 a pop.
That's crazy.
And a lot of people have taken advantage of that in places like Seattle, Washington, for instance. So this fraud's happening everywhere. Now, the people have given me a mandate to expose more of the fraud, so I'll be exposing more.
100%. What about, I know in Minnesota now, you have Nick Shirley, who's there. Are you hoping to see more investigative journalists, independent journalists, taking to the streets to almost use your work as like the blueprint for what we as everyday people can do to help expose the truth?
Yes, but I just ask that they do their search before they go do it, because you don't want a bunch of people showing up to daycare saying, where are the kids? Where's all the money? So people need to do their due diligence just like I did, and just show respect as well.
100%. I would imagine if, again, you have 100 people doing the exact same thing, people not putting in the same effort that you have on the front end, it certainly could create some issues. So what's next for you? I'm sure your tip line right now is going crazy the past few weeks, especially today, again, with the news about Tim Walz. Do you plan on going into other states? Do you plan on going back into Minnesota, which I would imagine if you did now, it's going to be a little harder to remain undercover as your face has become well known in the state? Yeah.
I'll be going to other places. I have part 2 coming out from Minnesota as well. That one's even crazier than the first one.
Is that possible?
Yeah, there's a lot of fraudulent businesses in Minnesota, and then all across the country, there's other places. I'm not gonna tip anybody off because I don't want to be put a target like I am in Minnesota. But yeah, I'll be going to other states.
When can we expect part 2?
Part 2 sometime this week.
And you're going to release on X?
X, YouTube, everywhere.
Where can people follow along with your journey and the work you have to come?
It's Nick Shirley everywhere, just like Shirley Temple.
That's fantastic. Well, we appreciate you. I think you should give a shout out to your sweatshirts that you're selling.
Yes, we have quality Learing sweatshirts. I just gave away one that I had, but they're amazing. Quality Learing Center.
1-800-FRAUD.
Yes, it is at shirleydefense.com for quality Learing Center hoodies.
Well, I love this, and hopefully there's a way for people to donate to a security fund there as well. Because like I said, these people don't just want to discredit the work that you're doing, as made very evident by the assassination, the murder, the premature ending of his life, what has happened to Charlie Kirk. They want to kill you for having the beliefs that you do, that I do, that the people watching this do. So is there a way for people to donate as well?
Yeah, you can just go to all my pages. I have it up on X underneath the tips, or Venmo, just Nick Shirley 21. Anywhere where I have my platforms, you can find it.
Well, I truly believe that you have become one of the most, probably the most, honestly, consequential journalists of our time. I feel so inspired that you're so young too. So often I think and I say we, I'm 25. I think we're not allowed a seat at the table because we're young. They say we don't have the wisdom or the expertise or the maturity level, whatever excuse they make. But to see someone so young doing the work, putting in the effort, it inspires me. I think it's proof that one person really can make a difference, right? Your expose of the truth and the fraud that's been happening in the state of Minnesota, and boom, Waltz's political career is over, and good riddance for that matter. And I believe you're also proof that real power in this country rests with we the people, not our government, not politicians, not who's in the White House. And so if we all stood up for truth without fear, as you have done, our country would turn around tomorrow. So thank you. There's more work to be done. I'm reminded of verses like Ephesians 5:11, take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. And that is exactly what you've been doing. So very grateful for you. Onwards and upwards.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.